Chemical reactions related to the use of cyanide in gold mining by me. Here's a table of contents of what we'll be talking about. So first we have our introduction with our research statement, our topic, our research question, and the hypothesis. Next we have our procedure with a step-by-step guide on how cyanide is used in gold mining. Then we have the benefits of how cyanide is helpful when mining for gold. Then we have the consequences for possible health and environmental problems. And then we have our bibliography with our sources cited. Part 1, Introduction. Here's our research statement. Analyze, on the basis of research, various safety and environmental issues associated with chemical reactions and their reactants or products. Our topic is cyanide in gold mining, and this is a very brief description of what it is. We'll get into that later. It's using cyanide in the extraction from gold ore, help the extraction of gold from gold ore, and allows the extraction of lower grade ore. Here's our research question. Using cyanide in gold extraction is one of the most important aspects of extracting the metal. What are the possible benefits of using cyanide in the extraction? What are the possible consequences of using cyanide in the extraction? Our hypothesis: despite having many possible benefits, the use of cyanide in gold mining and extraction could have some very harmful effects on the surrounding environment and wildlife. Part 2, Procedure. So this is a very brief description on how cyanide is used in the extraction of gold. So first, what you do is you mix some sodium cyanide pellets and water to create a sodium cyanide solution. And then you mix the sodium cyanide solution into the batch of the rocks and ore that you think the gold is in, which allows for the reaction shown on screen. And this is a curricular connection because in prior lessons we learned about the ability of chemical reactions to change the state of chemical state of an object, and the gold state is being changed into a liquid because it's originally a solid in the ore. Then we extract the gold cyanide compound from the cyanide treated slurry and prepare it for the extraction of the gold because the gold is still mixed in with the cyanide at this point. Now, next we add zinc into the reaction, which isolates the gold and allows us to use the gold and do whatever we want with it. And fun fact, over 1.1 million tons of cyanide is used every year for various purposes, but the mining industry uses 6% of that. I just thought that fact was quite interesting. Now we got part 3, the benefits of using cyanide in gold extraction. Why is using cyanide in gold mining so effective? Because of the high demand of gold, this process allows for the extraction of gold from the ores that wouldn't be profitable if it wasn't extracted using cyanide. This is again talking about the lower grade ores, which would be extremely unprofitable to extract from if you couldn't use this easy method of cyanide. And this process allows for a high amount of gold extracted because you're able to do a pretty high amount all at the same time and not doing it all separately by hand. The regulations of the use on cyanide, this is one of the benefits. If cyanide is regulated, it could be very safe if the safety concerns weren't so big, because the use of cyanide in all industries is regulated on the local, provincial, and the federal level, and mining companies that use cyanide are encouraged to receive certification from the International Cyanide Management Code for manufacture, transport, and use of cyanide in the production of gold. And here's another curricular connection. The safety processes that cyanide companies using cyanide have to go through relate back to our WHMIS and our HHPS regulations and symbols. And the global demand of of gold is another benefit, because in the future demand for gold will be much higher because it's used in electronics, and other objects, and this allows, and the cyanide allows for a way that gold can be produced and extracted faster. And these are some products that gold is used in: computers, phones, your TV, a laptop, just another type of computer, and a calculator. All of these objects have gold in it. It might be a little amount, but they still all have gold in them. Part 4, the negative consequences. We have safety concerns for the animals. A possible cyanide leak that could cause the cyanide to mix with water and cause this reaction, which creates both sodium hydroxide and hydrogen cyanide, both of which are deadly to animals and marine life. So that's not good. That's a very big safety concern. And then the same, and safety threats for humans. The same threats previously stated in the slide before can also apply to humans. And another safety threat: if cyanide gets in the air, it can turn into nitrate and then react with water to turn into nitrous oxide, which is a greenhouse gas which helps speed up global warming and climate change. And this is another curricular connection. This relates to our discussion of the roles of greenhouse gases in global warming and climate change. Part 5, bibliography. I believe, despite all the benefits that cyanide use in the gold mining industry can produce, I think the possible consequences outweigh that, because we do not need another thing speeding up climate change, and our animals and marine life are already dying fast enough. We do not need to add another way for them to die or continue to allow that way to happen. So these are the resources I used.